Best quotes by Arthur Schopenhauer. Talent hits a target no one else can hit. Genius hits a target no one else can see. Compassion is the basis of morality. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. Mostly it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Happiness consists in frequent repetition of pleasure. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. They tell us that suicide is the greatest piece of cowardice. That suicide is wrong, when it is quite obvious that there is nothing in this world to which every man has a more unassailable title than to his own life and person. Every miserable fool who has nothing at all of which he can be proud, adopts as a last resource pride in the nation to which he belongs. He is ready and happy to defend all its faults and follies tooth and nail, thus reimbursing himself for his own inferiority. One should use common words to say uncommon things. Compassion for animals is intimately associated with goodness of character, and it may be confidently asserted that he who is cruel to animals cannot be a good man. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. That when you're buying books, you're optimistically thinking you're buying the time to read them. Life is a constant process of dying. We forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. A sense of humor is the only divine quality of man. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. It is a wise thing to be polite, consequently, it is a stupid thing to be rude. To make enemies by unnecessary and willful incivility is just as insane a proceeding as to set your house on fire. For politeness is like a counter-avowedly false coin, with which it is foolish to be stingy. It would be better if there were nothing. Since there is more pain than pleasure on earth, every satisfaction is only transitory, creating new desires and new distresses, and the agony of the devoured animal is always far greater than the pleasure of the devourer. Treat a work of art like a prince, let it speak to you first. Religion is the masterpiece of the art of animal training, for it trains people as to how they shall think. Great men are like eagles, and build their nest on some lofty solitude. So the problem is not so much to see what nobody has yet seen, as to think what nobody has yet thought concerning that which everybody sees. Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom. No rose without a thorn, but many a thorn without a rose. Hope is the confusion of the desire for a thing with its probability. We can regard our life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. Philosophy is a science, and as such has no articles of faith. Accordingly, in it nothing can be assumed as existing except what is either positively given empirically, or demonstrated through indubitable conclusions. Marrying means to halve one's rights and double one's duties. The safest way of not being very miserable is not to expect to be very happy. Every parting gives a foretaste of death, every reunion a hint of the resurrection. If I maintain my silence about my secret, it is my prisoner. If I let it slip from my tongue, I am its prisoner. The shortness of life, so often lamented, may be the best thing about it. The world is my idea. Wealth is like sea water. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. Almost all of our sorrows spring out of our relations with other people. There is no more mistaken path to happiness than worldliness. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. If we were not all so interested in ourselves, life would be so uninteresting that none of us would be able to endure it. To feel envy is human, to savor Schadenfreude is devilish. Faith is like love, it does not let itself be forced. We seldom think of what we have, but always of what we lack. If we suspect that a man is lying, we should pretend to believe him, for then he becomes bold and assured, lies more vigorously, and is unmasked. He who writes carelessly confesses thereby at the very outset that he does not attach much importance to his own thoughts. Men are the devils of the earth, and the animals are the tormented souls. After your death, you will be what you were before your birth.